Good morning, and happy Wednesday. We're getting a little bit of rain out there. It's kind of teasing us. I was just looking at the radar, and man, if it stays on track, it may go up and have an impact on that fire that's up by Sedona and Flagstaff. But it doesn't look like it's going to give us much relief out east up in the pine top or the pine and strawberry area where that fire is raging. And it's just hot and windy up there. I was up in Prescott yesterday and it was just this dry, hot wind. It was brutal. I woke up to a text this morning. Hi, my name is Brittany. My wife see this property. And it has a link. Your page, is still available and still spelt with one L. Raise your hand if you think I should click on this and log into Facebook. I get these all the time. And the thing is, I don't have a Facebook account anymore. I dumped that last year. So I don't know where they're getting this. And yesterday, I had a guy call me just steaming mad. He says, you've called this number 3 times. And talking to my special needs son's trying to sell him something. And I'm trying to tell him it wasn't me, but he had to rant for a long time before I finally said, I'm a real estate agent. I don't even make cold calls. I don't like bothering people. Somebody has ghosted my phone number. So it looks like it's coming from me, but it's not. He finally calmed down, but holy cow, he was just pounding on me. And so it's pretty rough, let me tell you. Mark J, good morning, California. Super, good to have you. And Super JC, yeah, Facebook is the worst. You know, I just don't like the censorship. And I tried running a real estate ad. I did a lot of advertising on Facebook, and I had one that said sunshine, golf, tennis, low taxes, and they flagged it as political. I said, I'm done with you guys. That's it. So anyway, why digress? Today's inventory is 5,442. Looks like it's kind of on par with last week, maybe 100 units more going into a Wednesday. Let's see what happens to get to the weekend, but it's not a major jump. If I take a look over here with what we're seeing on our 7-day moving average, we still have the blue wave coming. I'm reading the Cromford report, and they're saying that sales are not declining. That they're actually, it's just that we have more inventory coming on. So, but on my 7-day moving average, it kind of shows me that sales are declining. But I'm just pulling this off the MLS. If I look here, I mean, we were averaging like 4,100 units going under contract, and now we're down in like 3,700. And the number of units available each week is still hovering around 4,100. It used to be about 4,200. So it's, numbers are numbers. It's hard to tell. If we look at, this is from Realtor.com, we are approaching the critical summer season when the volume of real estate reaches its peak during a typical year. With 4 consecutive monthly declines in existing home sales, May's sales activity points to a potential moderation in growth for the remainder of 2021, they said. Seasonality. Well, that's why I wanted to get on here today and talk about seasonality, because it's really tough right now to figure out, are we going to see a normal summer or not? And I'm going to say no, because nothing's normal anymore. This is our first pandemic, first recovery coming out of something like that. So it's impossible to kind of predict seasonally where things are going. The only number that we can hang our hat on is where inventory is going and where sales are resting. So that's the only indicator that we have that we can kind of hang our hat on. Because if I look at sales, and I'm going to jump over to the Cromford Market Index for just a moment and show you, first of all, sales trends. And this is sales per month. I mean, that's a busy chart, right? So if you look back here in 2018, there's March, April, May, June. May is higher. So let's go up another year. And we got May is the highest month. Then it dips down a little bit in June, a little bit down in July. Last year, June, normal, but April and May were terrible because everything was shut down. Now we look here and we see April, May was still high. June is really low because the month is still going, so it's not done yet. So there are some trends where in the past couple of years, because we can't count 2020 at all, where May seems to peak and then it slows down a little bit during the summer. See that? There's May, slows down a little bit. So there is a possibility that we'll see some slowing in sales for the summer. And it might just be because people are going on vacation. Now, new listings. When do new listings come on? I had a question yesterday. When do we see most of the new listings come on? And usually it's January. But again, I mean, the charts and everything are way off. We can't tell. We take a look, and this one's a little busy. I'm going to pull it up here. It kind of looks similar to the last one. But there it shows new listings there. January is actually lower than I thought. But in 2018, January was the second highest month. In 2019, second highest month of new listings. In 2020, it dipped down. This year, nothing going on. So you can see that we do get a lot of new listings typically come up on January. And now we're showing here June again, but June's not done. May, we had 9,847, 10,833. So our biggest month consistently when it comes to available listings and sales is March. March is a busy, busy time. Number of price changes per week when you look at this, you can see that they're starting to go up, but they have a long way to go from where we were in 18 and 19. And the example I gave yesterday was that sometimes the price changes we're seeing is people were shooting too high and they've got to pull it back. When you're pulling back at listing price, it doesn't mean that prices are dropping. It means that somebody just asked too much for their home. So you really have to look at the sales that are going on and see what the trend is. So if we're still going up at 35 to 38% right now, and you marked yours 45% higher than the market, then yeah, you're going to have to lower your price, like that example that I gave yesterday. Mortgage rates. Let's take a look at that real quick. They are ticking up a little bit, folks, but not much. They're 3.26 today. Yesterday it was 3.25. Last week it was 3.18. Now this is a national survey and an average, not necessarily indicative of what you're getting quoted with your lender, but they are inching up ever so slowly. Also saying May marked the fourth month of decline for existing home sales. Well, when you dip into the number, what does that really mean? So the National Association of Realtors said sales of previously single-owned family homes, townhomes, condos, and cooperatives were at a seasonally adjusted rate of 5.8 million, down 0.9%. And there they go again with that seasonally adjusted rate. And we just looked at, we really don't have any seasonality right now, so we don't know. So they are slowing. And there's a lot of discussion as why it's slowing. Some of it's affordability. Some of it is, I've been cooped up for a year and a half. I want to go on vacation. So we don't know. So we just continue to watch the numbers. Have another question here. Do you feel we will follow trends that follow 2020 or 2019? Or do you think we will make a new trend separate from those years? 2020, when it comes to anything from March to May, we just have to throw it out the window because March we were shut down. May we kind of started to explode. April we were starting to get back on our feet. April numbers were dismal. So you're going to look now and go, oh, we're 20% above April. Well, yeah, it's like, we were closed. I like to compare to 2018 and 2019, but some of the numbers you really can't because the inventory was higher then. It was approaching more of a balanced market. But in 2019, inventory was starting to decline, and we left that balanced market, and we were approaching a seller's market in 2019 before the pandemic. So then after the pandemic came, and then people decided that they wanted to ramp up and get into a house, then things exploded. So it's really hard now to compare year after year. We're just going to have to take a fresh look at where we're at and see where the trends are taking us. And that all depends on interest rates, depends on inventory, many, many things. We are seeing lumber prices drop, but they're still way above last year. We're seeing numbers that show that we are that our sales are down, but they're still above last year. So they're comparing for the past few months. When we're saying that inventory is coming up, we're still 47% lower than last year. So those numbers have to change dramatically. We have to see some huge spikes in inventory to approach a balanced market. If we were to add 800 to 1,000 listings a week, more than what's selling, we could approach a balanced market sooner rather than later, maybe up to September. That's what's going to be interesting about this Saturday. Last Saturday, we came in at 6,100 units, and today we're sitting at 4,442. So are we going to add another 600 to 800 units before the weekend? I think we will. But Saturday to Saturday, it's not a big jump, so I don't think that's going to indicate too much. But if we keep going and we keep looking at the inventory numbers, and if people are still kind of sitting on their hands for a while, we could see some balance start to approach the market. Like I said yesterday, and I want to caution everybody, it's just going to take time unless there's some cataclysmic event that really changes all the numbers. I mean, I will never forget riding in my car and hearing that spring training was canceled last year. I couldn't even wrap my head around it. And the NBA was canceled. And we had a curfew, had to be home by 8 o'clock. I'm usually home by 8 anyway, but all of this stuff was just stunning and unprecedented. And we didn't really know what to do with it. There are some numbers that show why we have a housing shortage. I'm going to share it with you real quick here. And if you look here, you can see going back a few years that the blue line represents our population growth, and the red line represents how many housing units. So when you get in 2006, we had housing growth at 4.4%, population growth at 3.7%. So we were building more homes than people that were moving here. And that crossed in late 2009 to where builders just stopped building. But then we had 1.2, 1.8. Now we have 2.1% population growth and 1.6% housing units. So this period here, this 10 years, builders were behind the curve. They just didn't think that they were going to have to put any new houses on the market. And so you can see what the difference is in population versus housing units. That is our problem. And so there's a picture here I wanted to find, but where'd it go? Why do we have a housing shortage? There's a housing shortage. Buyers agents, buyers, you don't know where to look. It's tough out there. It's really tough. So coming into tomorrow, I want to dive a little bit deeper into the trends on in this market. I'm going to go unit by unit and take a look at the housing shortage. Going to try and see if we see any indication that inventory is consistently starting to come up, and see what we can try to guess coming into the weekend. Right now, our gap between homes that are coming on the market and homes that are going under contract is 468. So as long as that hovers between 400 and 500, we can start marching towards a balanced market. And like I say, that's going to take a few months, but we're going to watch the numbers every day right here on this channel. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to smash that like button before you leave. Have a fabulous Wednesday.